Good evening, Tallahassee. I'm student meteorologist Sloan Haynes.
I am student meteorologist Parker Beasley.
You know, we did have that first day of fall on Saturday, but it does not feel like fall outside at all.
Not at all. We are still in the temperatures within the 90-degree temperatures.
Yeah. Dew points are still pretty high, making it feel a bit muggy outside.
Yeah, it's definitely
Although
muggy.
there was a bit of a breeze today on campus, so I didn't feel like as hot, but you could still know it's like 90 degrees when you walked outside your apartment.
The breeze was definitely a plus for today, and it was still extremely hot outside.
Yep. Coming up on the show, you're going to see that we do have rain chances increasing into tomorrow. I believe there's a high chance of rain, about 60%. Continuing that typical Tallahassee afternoon shower pattern we've been seeing, but hopefully that decreases again and gives us a weekend that we've been seeing this past week, which was a beautiful weekend for Parents Weekend.
Yeah, it was a absolutely beautiful weekend. I went out to Doak Campbell on Saturday and enjoyed watching the Noles take their second home victory this year.
Yeah, it's a bit tricky this season, you know, not winning a lot of games, but they're showing us what they're made of, so it's all that matters.
Yeah, so we moved to 2-2. And
yeah.
That was awesome.
Maybe it was the good weather. We'll blame it on that.
Yeah, so moving into tonight's show, like Sloan said earlier, we're going to be expecting more rain into tomorrow. Not much for tonight, but, you know, right now I think we're actually going to send things over to the wall for Rebecca to give us the overview.
All right, thank you guys. So right now, if you were outside, I'm sure you'd notice it's almost 90 degrees. It's super hot, very few clouds, some wind, so there is something to look forward to, but in the span of things, not real great. And if you want, you know, to feel a little better, you can look and see that it's just like that everywhere else. So in the whole area, you know, low 90s, but still pretty miserable this late into the day. Some clouds we can see here. Most of the cloudiness we would have been seeing has already moved on. To the east, we saw some patchy showers, but they've already moved on for the rest of the night. And then down in the east, it's just leaving some residual clouds to kind of cool things off a little bit for the rest of the day. To watch for this show, we're going to see, unfortunately, the combination of lots of rain and lots of high temperatures for the whole week ahead. So, you know, prepare, but this is going to be quite the doozy of a week. And passing it off to Sloan, though.
Yeah, taking it to look at Tallahassee, you're going to see we do have some clouds forming right here behind Doak a bit, but we do have that sun over Doak. It's been a beautiful day outside, as I mentioned earlier. And then current conditions for our region, you're going to see we're hot for most of our region, except Apalachicola having some relief at 83. But you mostly see 90 degrees, high 80s for our region. Tallahassee breaking that 90 finally at 89. And again, it's a bit muggy outside, sort of feels like a sauna when you walk outside, especially in Tallahassee, but Apalachicola has a high dew point as well as 77, but lower in southern Georgia where they really haven't received that rain yet. And then what it feels like outside, you can see Perry is the hottest at 98, Tallahassee 96, Apalachicola and Brainridge a bit cooler at 91, and then we see these storms behind me moving up towards Perry along I-10, and again the western panhandle having a few storms and cloud cover as well. And here are these storms I was mentioning again, moving up Perry along 98, along I-10, some cloud cover, especially in Live Oak and Lake City. And then we have this cloud cover again north of Panama City and along the coast as well, with maybe a few coastal showers here or there. Going into tonight, you're going to see the showers do come up a bit, but around midnight we are going to clear up. There will be cloud cover tonight for most of our region. And then tomorrow morning, expect maybe a coastal shower, but it's going to be a cloudy start for the day. And then again, you're going to see the showers moving through south of Tallahassee, but we might have that typical summertime pattern return since there's a high chance of rain tomorrow. So expect thunderstorms in the region, so don't leave your house without an umbrella or a raincoat. And then about 24 hours from now, showers moving north into Bainbridge and Thomasville, causing them to cool off a bit as well. Tonight's forecast, mostly cloudy skies, a few storms in Valdosta and Apalachicola, but Tallahassee, Quincy, Bainbridge, expect clouds and a bit clear skies as well. Lows in the mid-70s, low 70s for most of our region, which is typical. Tomorrow, there's going to be a high of 93 with afternoon thunderstorms with winds coming from the southeast at 6 miles per hour. And if you're going to be on the boat or at the beach tomorrow, it's going to be 90 degrees outside, light chop, and light winds about 10 knots, but make sure you are swimming in sight of a lifeguard. going into your 7-day forecast, you're going to see that rain chances do increase going into tomorrow, as we've said, 60% chance, but then decreasing throughout the week. Temperatures decreasing a bit as well going into tomorrow, but picking right back up into the 92, 91 mark. But maybe we'll have that beautiful weekend again that we saw this past weekend, but then again expect those afternoon showers to return on Monday. I'm going to pass it off to Jennifer for the Southeast.
Thank you, Sloan. And as we take a look what's going on in the Southeast, we're looking at some hot temperatures across most of the region. Looking around 89 degrees in Tallahassee as well as 74 in Montgomery. They're actually seeing a lot of rain in those areas because of the higher dew points and because of that southerly flow that's coming in out of the Gulf. Dew points again are very high, so it feels very muggy across a lot of the Southeast. We're just seeing swaths of rain everywhere because these dew points are in the 70s, even some 60s along the map. So overall, it feels very humid out along most of the Gulf Coast states. So with these higher dew points, you're going to see a lot more humidity and a lot more rain. With this southerly flow as well, we have most of the winds are coming out from the Gulf, which is bringing a lot of this Gulf moisture into the region, about 6 miles per hour in New Orleans. Along the Florida coast and as well as heading up into the Carolinas, they're looking at an easterly flow, which is bringing in some Atlantic moisture into the area, which is just allowing a lot of water into our area. Taking a look at the upload water vapor, we're just seeing a lot of moisture in the air, especially along the Gulf Coast states, places like Pensacola, even on into Alabama. We're seeing a lot of moisture in the air. With all that moisture, we're also going to see a lot of rainfall across most of the Southeast states. Taking a look at areas like Mississippi as well as Alabama, we're just seeing a lot of rainfall in a short amount of time, which is allowing for some flash flood watches and warnings. We see some warning actually in northern Georgia heading on into Tennessee right now, as well as a flash flood watch for overall in Tennessee, northern Tennessee for these areas. This is just because there's a lot of rainfall in these areas. Taking a look at the Carolina states, areas like the Outer Banks are seeing a little bit of some rainfall. Areas like Kill Devil Hills and the Outer Banks are actually seeing some rain in those areas, as well as areas like Charleston also seeing some rain. And off in the Atlantic, we actually see a disturbance that's actually given around a 50% chance of development in the next 5 days. That should be a 50%, not a 40%. It was updated at 5 p.m. But no matter how this storm develops, it will bring a lot of rain for areas like the Carolinas, who have seen a lot of rain since Florence as well, and even on up into areas like New Jersey and New York as well. So we'll give that about a 50% chance of a 5-day development. Taking a look at the forecast for the Southeast, we're going to see some rainfall into tonight, and by tomorrow morning, we won't see cloudy start for most of the area, but by the afternoon, we'll see that moisture kicking on in with that southerly flow as well, which will just allow for a lot of moisture in the area and a lot of rainfall as well. For tonight, a warm one across most of the Southeast, 72 in Jackson. We'll keep the rainfall in the mix we'll keep some showers and storms in the mix throughout most of tonight. 73 degrees for Tallahassee as well. But for tomorrow, it's going to be another hot one. With these hot temperatures, we're going to see some heat indexes as well into the hundreds for most of the Southeast. 90 degrees for Montgomery, Alabama, as well as 85 for Atlanta. 88 degrees for Charleston. We're even looking at 90 degrees for Orlando. Heading on through the southern portion of Florida, 90 degrees for Miami, as well as 89 degrees for Key West. I'm going to pass things off to Michael and Dylan at the desk.
Thanks, Jennifer. So that stalled out front that's currently in the Southeast, it was a cold front this past Friday that moved through Ottawa, and it brought some pretty significant damage to Ottawa.
Yeah, there were 2 tornadoes reported with this cold front that moved eastward through the area, and it brought some damage to local areas, so we're going to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so first up, we had an EF3 tornado. This was in Gatineau on the northwest side of Ottawa. You can see some of the pictures there from the local media. And 165 mile per hour winds with this tornado.
Yeah, very, very strong tornado. We also have an EF2 that moved through Arlington Woods, which was at 136 miles per hour. So another strong one in another area as well.
Yeah, in addition to these 2 tornadoes, we also had 2 massive downbursts in Calbugi at 4 p.m. on Friday with 62 mile per hour winds.
And what a downburst is, for folks that don't know, it's when a strong thunderstorm pours a lot of rain very quickly, creating a large wind field that pushes and has straight line winds, which are just straight winds moving and can knock down a lot of debris and stuff that's out there.
Yeah, and you can see the pictures of the damage there in Ottawa. Now, this was only the second EF3 tornado after the month of September in all of Canada.
The infrastructure there is not prepared for tornadoes because they rarely see them. So this is why we've seen a lot of damage coming off these two tornadoes.
Yeah, there was a lot of power outages also with this tornado. We have one of our viewers, John Hazel. He went down to the basement during this tornado, was doing some tracking, and it's amazing what he was doing during that time.
Yeah, the last tornado to hit the area was back in 2011, and it was also an EF3, so they're underprepared. Luckily, people were safe, and they did find shelter.
Yep, but for now, we're going to send it back out to the wall with Parker with a look at our second local forecast.
Yeah, thanks, guys. So looking at Tallahassee currently, right now it is 89 degrees. It's partly cloudy outside. You know, we did see that sun shine through for the majority of the day. We just have some clouds passing over the area right now. Winds are out of the south at 10 miles per hour. Our current conditions for the Big Bend region, Tallahassee, like I said earlier, 89 degrees, Perry over here at 90. And Apalachicola did get some thunderstorms earlier, a few hours ago, so that's why their temperature is at 83 degrees right now, cooling them off. Our dew points for the Big Bend region are relatively high right now, so it is a little bit muggy. Tallahassee at 72, Apalachicola down there at 77 because they are closer to the coast. They got those rains earlier, so overall the dew points are relatively high right now, so it's not that comfortable outside. The heat index, this was 99 earlier. Right now it's 96. This is the feels like temperature, what it actually feels like outside when you step outside your front door. Perry over here at 98, that's the hot spot for the heat index map, but for the overall portion, upper 90s to lower 90s. As for the satellite and radar, we do have some thunderstorms moving just east of the Big Bend region that are going to be making their way towards the northwest portion of Tallahassee, possibly dumping some rain overnight. Not likely though, so we will have some cloud coverage that will be cooling off our temperatures. Again, here are those clouds moving up as that graphic pops up right in front. Some thunderstorms passing over Perry right now on 27 and 98 through to 221. Mayo just experienced some thunderstorms, so they have that cloud coverage left over. And this is from earlier near East Point and Port St. Joe. They have some cloud coverage from those thunderstorms that moved through that cooled them down to their 83 current temperature. Forecast for tonight, moving in to about 12 a.m. The storms will clear out and we'll leave some cloud coverage. It will cool down. Again, we'll be in the low 70s as for tonight. And as for tonight's forecast, moving into that, it's 73 degrees out. That's going to be expected for the low. It's going to be partly cloudy outside with winds out of the east at 3 miles per hour. So go out and enjoy tonight. You know, it is Monday. We do have classes tomorrow here at FSU. So not many students will be doing anything. But if you aren't a student, go out and enjoy tonight, tonight's weather. Tomorrow's forecast, we're going to be in the 90s again. This will be the 20th consecutive day that Tallahassee, the state capital of Florida, will have reached 90 degrees. Shout out to Jake Karstens for that statistic. He posts on Twitter every day. Perry and Bainbridge up at 92. Those are the hot spots here. Apalachicola, you could see that they had some thunderstorms earlier, so they are cooling down, like I stated earlier. So they're at 86 for tomorrow. Actually, no. They will have some thunderstorms tomorrow. This is tomorrow's forecast. But as for the 7-day, tomorrow, 30% chance of rain. Moving into Wednesday, though, you can see that 60% chance of rain with an 89 high, so maybe that 20-day streak, possibly 21-day streak will be over. But moving into the weekend, it's going to be relatively beautiful, 20% chance of rain, moving into Monday with 40% chance. I'm actually going to switch things over to Dylan right now to take a look at the National.
Thank you very much, Parker. Well, we're finally in fall. I don't know if anyone said this on the show already, but it's our first fall show, and we're not feeling like fall here, but we do have some fall-like conditions. They're trying to make its way. It's starting to ramp up. We've got two areas to watch. That first frontal system that's moved through on the weekend in the Virginias right now, and the second frontal system you can see on the temperature map. You have these orange and yellows, and then you see this kind of line of greens. That's where that front is located. You see a temperature gradient, a change in temperature. That's where the front is, and we're going to look at more signs of front? Well, we got dew point, lower dew points behind this frontal area. That's indicating a front as well, 59 in Minneapolis, but anything behind it, 36 in Billings. Cooler. You do see that other frontal system there, a little less strengthened right now. It has dissipated mostly, so not much of an effect, but this is the next frontal system making its way down into the southeast. Now looking at winds, you do see this great, again, a convergence of winds, which is another sign of a frontal system over by Minneapolis. And we do have that other area of winds here, not as well defined, a little dip, not too much of a front there. Now looking at our satellite radar, here's that first frontal system, a nice well-defined cold front bringing showers into Minneapolis. And then the other frontal system, a little less defined, but a lot more rain associated with that. A lot of showers over on the east coast. And as we look at our water vapor, you do see dry air behind the first front, and then more moist air behind that, and that's where that other frontal system is. These darker colors, though, indicating a stronger thunderstorms, those cooler temperatures. You do have a lot of those in the southeast. And let's zoom in a little bit. You do have a lot of rain moving in through Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Virginia area right now, and that's going to continue for today and tomorrow. And as we look, we do have a flash flood watch associated with all that rain that's just being dumped right there. And this red is a flash flood warning right now, but it is set to expire as the night goes on. Moving over back to the west coast, you do have less showers with this front, but you do have some topography taking into play, which you see these like scattered little bits of showers. Those are the high mountains playing a role. And then we do have some freeze watches and warnings, but then you have that fire and ice situation because you do have some fire weather, so it's dry out there, and with that dry conditions, you do have the possibility of a fire sparking up with those dry dew points and those dry moisture in the air, and that cold front making it very cold as well. Moving into the storm outlook, as that frontal system moves eastward, you do have a slight risk into Chicago, St. Louis, Indiana, Ohio. That's where you're going to see the severe threat as the storm moves eastward. And then looking at your forecast tomorrow, you do see the storm moving a bit eastward, a little more defined. Look at this temperature gradient. 81 in Chicago for tomorrow, rainy skies, but then a little bit behind the front, 55 in Minneapolis. A little less rainy, but still rainy nonetheless. And then behind that front, look at all this nice clear air, 65 in Denver, 70 in Salt Lake City. We're starting to see fall temperatures now. But let's send it over to the desk with Jennifer and Rebecca.
Thank you, Dylan. And we are still in hurricane season, so we actually have a few disturbances in the Atlantic right now. That is the key for this time of the year. But we also have the Saffir-Simpson scale, which defines what exactly a hurricane category is.
Yeah, and it's really important right now that we're going to be hearing it tossed around exactly what it is. So it measures the intensity and kind of defines it in 5 categories based on wind speed.
Yes. And this is very important for hurricane preparedness as well. Now, a Category 1 hurricane is when a hurricane is around 74 to 95 miles per hour. So below that, it can be a tropical storm up to 74 miles per hour. And then after that, it's a Category 1. And then Category 2 is where it's about 96 miles per hour to about 110.
Right, right. And then when you pick it back up at Category 3, it goes from 111 to 129 miles per hour. Category 4 continues with that. It's 130 to 156. Category 5 is as bad as it can get, and it's pretty bad, because it can be greater than 157 miles per hour, and that can do some damage.
That can do a lot of damage, like we saw last season, where it caused a lot of damage in areas like the Caribbean as well as the Antilles. Now, when an example of defining the categories, Florence made landfall, and it was only a Category 1 storm. But it was a slow-moving Category 1 storm, the reason when you have a slow-moving storm like that, it can dump a lot of rainfall in a short amount of time. So with that storm, it was the rainfall that was actually the most damaging.
Yeah, and that can be a little bit misleading if you're just learning about the forecast, is that the number, even though it might be low, doesn't necessarily tell you how damaging it can be.
Exactly. Like some spots from Florence actually saw 30 inches of rain, while other spots barely even saw any rain. So it all depends on where the rain is, as well as how the rivers will react to that as well.
Yeah. And there are some attempts to try and make it more streamlined and take into account, different kinds of damages, electrical and just energy-based. But they all have a little bit of flaws. Like the integrated kinetic energy one only doesn't take into account size, so it actually can't be averaged out to compare different storms. It's only good for one storm at a time.
Exactly. So every storm is different, and every storm, how it reacts with where it's making landfall, that's exactly how the storm will impact those areas. So with that, we're actually going to take things back out to the wall with Michael. He's going to give us a look at what's going on around Florida.
Yeah, thanks, Jennifer and Rebecca. Let's start off Florida with a look at our time lapse at Key West. You can see all these clouds bubbling up. That's due to the daytime heating and the sea breeze from the Caribbean and the Gulf of Mexico. Now it's starting to die down as we're getting into the nighttime hours. Now, temperatures across the state of Florida, we have 93 degrees in Tampa. That's our hot spot right now with the thunderstorm nearby. 89 in Atlanta. They got up to 90 degrees once again in Tallahassee, not Atlanta. 86 in Miami and 86 in West Palm Beach. Now the dew points, pretty typical for summer conditions here in Florida, even though we're in the well into fall now. 72 in Orlando, 71 in Tampa. So it's a lot of moisture in the air across Florida. Now, satellite and radar in the southern portion and central portion of the state, it's the typical sea breeze, showers, and thunderstorms. We'll zoom into that very quickly. You can see some of them just over the Everglades and south of Fort Myers into Sarasota. Now, for tomorrow's forecast, we'll be in the 90s and the chance of an afternoon shower and thunderstorm again due to the sea breeze. Now, up towards northern Florida, they do have their sea breeze, showers, and thunderstorms along the Nature Coast. That's around Cedar Key and Perry. So if you're going down 27 and 19, that's where you'll experience some showers and thunderstorms right now. Going into tomorrow, pretty similar pattern. It will be hot in the interior locations with 93 in Gainesville, 92 in Live Oak. And then out towards the coastline, the first coast, it's a little cooler, 87 in St. Augustine and Palm Coast. Now out towards the Panhandle, they're getting moisture ahead of the stalled out frontal boundary up towards the southeast. So you can see a lot of moisture streaming in, fueling these showers and thunderstorms. We do have some lightning just west of Destin and basically right on top of Fort Walton Beach. But these are going to continue to stream in and then die down a little bit as we head into the nighttime hours. For tonight's forecast across Florida, we do have 74 degrees in Orlando, 73 in Tallahassee, and 73 in Jacksonville. Very muggy night. You saw those dew points in the 70s, so it will feel very muggy outside. And then going into tomorrow, pretty similar pattern to what we experienced today. Maybe a greater coverage across Tallahassee with 90 degrees. And then out towards Orlando and Tampa, they'll get their typical sea breeze, showers, and thunderstorms with 90 in Orlando and 92 in Tampa. Now, let's send it off to Jennifer to wrap up the show with our local forecast.
Thank you, Michael. And as we take a look at things currently right now in Tallahassee, we're looking around 89 degrees. We're seeing the partly cloudy skies, so it's allowing temperatures to stay quite warm across Tallahassee. With that southerly wind, it's actually bringing some higher dew points as well as humidity, so it feels quite muggy when you walk outside. Currently across the Big Bend region, we're looking at varying temperatures into the high 80s, low 90s for most areas, about 86 degrees for Valdosta, 86 in Perry. They're seeing some showers that they saw earlier today, as well as 89 degrees for Tallahassee. So things are very warm across most of the Big Bend. Dew points are high, so it's making it feel quite muggy when you walk outside. With the dew points in the low 70s, some 60s on the map, it feels like when you walk outside, you're just heading into a sauna in some areas. Your hair might not like it, and it's definitely going to feel quite humid. Perry looking at around 73. They're actually seeing some showers in those areas right now as well. Now, when you count the humidity as well as the temperature, you're going to get temperatures that feel like they're in the high 90s for most areas. 96 degrees for Tallahassee as well as 93 in Bainbridge. 92 along the coast in Apalachicola, so closer to that actual temperature. However, things are still quite hot. So these feels like temperatures are very warm for this time of the day, around 6:30 p.m. Satellite radar is showing those showers and storms across most of the Big Bend region. We're even seeing some showers and storms in southern Alabama as well as the western portion of the Panhandle as well. Looking a bit closer towards areas like Perry, they're seeing some showers and storms along that I-19 corridor right there, as well as some just lingering clouds across most of the I-10 corridor as well. Areas like Live Oak, even Madison, just seeing some cloudy skies here and there, and then definitely clearing out across areas like Apalachicola. So things are looking a bit better in those locations. So nice time to head outside. Your forecast for tonight, storms start to clear out overnight, and by midnight we'll even see some cloud cover across most of the area, so we'll keep temperatures fairly warm across the area as well. And heading into tomorrow morning, we may even have a coastal shower here and there in areas like Apalachicola as well as St. Mark's. But overall, the eastern portion of our area will actually be, we may see some sunny skies for tomorrow morning. But by the afternoon, we're going to see a lot of that southerly flow kicking back in, so we'll allow those higher rain chances, about a 40% mainly for our western areas, for those afternoon showers and thunderstorms, especially along the coastline as well. And taking a look, even heading on, it's around 6:50 p.m. We could even see some mostly cloudy skies from the area. Tonight's forecast is going to be a warm one, around 72 for Monticello, 75 for St. Mark's, and a bit warmer along the coast, 76 in Apalachicola. They could see a lingering shower here and there as well. Tomorrow's forecast is going to be a warm one. We may even see heat index values in the hundreds for most of these areas. 90 degrees here in Tallahassee, 92 in Bainbridge, and 86 degrees in Apalachicola. They probably won't even see 90 degrees tomorrow. If you're going to head on the water, expect your marine forecast to be about 90 degrees on the water. That southwest wind at 10 knots will allow for a light chop in those protected waters, but there are no advisories for tomorrow, so it would be a good time to head out on the boat. Your 7-day forecast, looking at some rain chances for Wednesday mainly. It will keep the temperatures down a bit, 89 degrees for that day, as well as a 40% chance of rain for Thursday. The highs, though, are getting a bit higher as we get into the weekend. We'll even see some temperatures into the low 90s, 92 degrees for Friday, as well as 92 degrees for Saturday, but the rain chances stay low, so that's quite nice, Dylan.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I mean, look, we're getting a little more rain chances on Tuesday and a little cooler temperature, but it's not fall yet.
It's not fall, and I need my fall. I want to go across campus just wearing a sweater. I want to walk across campus without sweating. That's my key.
You want a sweater instead of sweating.
Exactly. That's the perfect way to put it.
Like, I was looking at pictures from last year, and I was looking at myself in a sweater. I'm like, I want to wear a sweater again and not feel like I'm sweating in it.
I love just walking across campus and just having a sweater, having my pumpkin spice latte.
Everyone loves their pumpkin spice latte.
A ghost is following me.
A ghost?
A ghost follows me, especially heading on into October. So, though we are in the autumn equinox was this past weekend.
It was at 9.
Technically is fall, but we're still seeing the hot temperatures.
Yeah, it's not gone away. There are some fronts. They are trying to fire up. As we go into next week, something might happen as well.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
But taking a look at your 7-day forecast again, we're looking at about 60% chance of rain for Wednesday. With that, 89 degrees, but the lowest temperatures are actually cooling off just a degree.
Look, the lows are 72 rather than 75 like we've seen the last couple of days, so that's better, but not great nonetheless.
And some areas, especially along the coast, will stay warmer. They'll see like 76 degrees along the coast for the overnight lows. But heading into the weekend, lower rain chances, especially if you have any outdoor plans. That's the perfect time to do it with those lower rain chances.
Go out to the beach, enjoy the bit of summer that you can still get, the warm Florida summer.
We'll see the 90-degree temperatures, so it's going to be a nice time to. It would be a nice time to head out to the beach this weekend. Maybe I'll make my trip out there.
Hit the res too if you're in Tallahassee. It's not a bad idea. But if you want to know more about us and follow our information, follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/FSU weather.
We post regularly there, as well as we post social media updates on our Facebook, so you can watch us there.
And you can watch us live on YouTube or watch our old broadcasts on YouTube as well at FSU Weather, and then Instagram too.
Follow us on Instagram at FSU Weather. I need to post more on that Instagram page because we're kind of slacking there.
We have good pictures and a lot of cool sunsets happen in Tallahassee if you ever get the opportunity to go see some.
Exactly. But here from FSU Weather, I'm student meteorologist Jennifer Collins.
I'm student meteorologist Dylan Leith. Have a great night, folks.